This is nuts, y'all. Look at the news will not tell you about this. We're here in Pensacola Bay, right on the backside of Fort Pickens. Me and my fiance, we're out hunting seashells just off the shoreline, about 10 feet into the water. I'll show you what we found. This is crazy that this is still happening and it's being covered up and not covered by the media. Check it out. We're gonna pull up 2 handfuls from the sand. You can already see the black spreading down there. Oh, you got a good one. Look at this, y'all. These are tar balls from the BP oil spill that never got cleaned up. They hit the spots that the tourists go to all the time and said screw it on the rest of this. The news doesn't talk about it anymore. This is nuts, y'all. That's just, we're swimming in this. We're eating fish out of this. Y'all, they got to do better.
This new discovery is the reason we're going to rewrite the science books. Check this out.
Most of them say the universe is about 13 billion years old. What if it's not?
Well, that's the problem. The James Webb Space Telescope is upsetting the apple cart. All of a sudden, we realize that we may have to rewrite all the textbooks about the beginning of the universe. Now, it takes many billions of years to create a galaxy, like the Milky Way galaxy, with 100 billion stars, many billions of years old. But the James Webb Telescope has identified 6 galaxies that exist half a billion years after the Big Bang that are up to 10 times bigger than the Milky Way galaxy. That shouldn't happen. There should not be primordial galaxies that are bigger than the Milky Way galaxy that are only half a billion years old. Something is wrong. We may have to revise our theory of the creation of the universe.
What? They're chasing me. No.
I keep coming on the internet crying and screaming because I just want someone to validate the idea that I'm not crazy for thinking that the abuse and oppression in the Bible is okay. Like, it's not just. I want someone else to externally validate me that I'm not fucking psychotic for fucking thinking that this is not okay. Like, I don't understand this world, guys. I don't understand any of it. I don't understand how people think that what they've been taught is all that there is to know. That everybody else is wrong and they're right.
I can't begin to describe to you how valid your emotions and thoughts and feelings are about this topic. I was getting very emotional the first time I watched this video because it reminded me a lot of my deconstruction and how crazy I felt at the beginning of it. I felt like I was going crazy because, like her, I started reading through the Bible and I started really digging deep into things, and I realized how messed up a lot of it was, and nobody else around me seemed to think the same thing, and it felt like I was going crazy. I was told that things that are obviously not okay and things that really hurt people were fine, and it was good, and it was just. And I started realizing things like abuse of power, manipulation, fear, like she was talking about. It's not good. It's not a good thing to come from religion. And there are so many things that God does in the Bible that is horrific, and that I could not justify anymore. And I felt like I was going crazy because everybody around me was justifying these awful acts when I brought them up. You see God in the Bible doing things like condoning slavery, telling people to unalive other people. He's unaliving people. He's unaliving children. He's even petty enough to let a whole family die to win a bet with the devil. And there's so much more, but I remember reading these stories and being like, how did I ever think that this was good? How did I ever think that this was just? And the only reason I thought it was good and just is because that's what I was indoctrinated to believe. So when I got older and started reading and thinking for myself, I felt betrayed. So the emotions that this person is feeling from this deconstructing is completely normal and something I went through, and I think a lot of people went through. It's horrifying, it is stressful, it just can cause so much grief. To the girl in the video, you are not alone. There's a huge community on TikTok about deconstructing and for deconstructing. There are a lot of people who have been through what you are going through right now. And I promise you, I know that this is extremely hard, but I promise you, your feelings are valid and you are not going crazy.
Did you know that when Solomon built the temple, it was worth $500 billion in today's currency? And did you know that ancient Babylon is modern-day Iran? And did you know that when the Greek Empire started, it was around the same time as Jacob had his 12 sons? Yes, the 12 tribes of Israel. And did you know that only 10 sons of Jacob actually got the land that was promised. 2 of the sons didn't get the land, which was Joseph and Levi. Reason is because the Levites were chosen to be God's ministers, and Joseph's 2 sons got that land. And did you know that the cross was not used for 300 years? It wasn't until Constantine, 300 years later, where he said this is going to be the symbol for Christianity.
I have some really exciting space news. Sometime in the coming weeks, a new star will appear in the sky as bright as the North Star. And it might be your only chance to see it in your entire life. This will be the first time we've seen this star appear in the sky since the 1940s. The reason it's about to become visible again is because of an extremely powerful event known as a recurrent nova. Because the star isn't actually just one star, it's 2. A white dwarf and a red giant, orbiting each other in a binary system. It takes 80 years for the white dwarf to suck in matter from the red giant, causing pressure and temperature to build up. Once it gets hot enough to set the hydrogen alight, it goes off like a hydrogen bomb. And that's what we are about to see. Astronomers have actually been observing this very specific nova appear in our sky every 80 years for nearly 1,000 years now. When this nova does happen in the next few weeks, you need to be prepared because it will only be extremely bright in the sky for around 1 day. So follow me and I'll post as soon as there's an update to let you know it's time. Otherwise you'll have to wait another 80 years.
Think with me. Would an infinite being be worried about money? Would an infinite being be worried about other people hurting him or her? Would an infinite being be worried about being unhealthy or doing things wrong? No, an infinite being would just experience this creation of lack or whatever, or sickness or misfortune, and think, cool, I created that. That's awesome. Look how I made myself believe I created this lack. That's amazing that an infinite being like me can create such an illusion, fool myself into thinking I'm this limited thing. You know how amazing that is? You are identified with this role. You know how amazing this is? Amazing. And then you as an infinite being can choose, okay, now I want to experience the opposite. Maybe I will experience some fortune or some other thing, or I will experience having something new in my life, whatever. Let's see how that's going. But the trick is, and this is a trick, if you resist any creation that you yourself created, you as pure consciousness, not your ego, if you resist any creation in front of you, and if you judge the creation, you will keep yourself stuck in the lower ego. And that's when the creation remains the same. That's when you stay stuck in the same creation, and you think, oh, you see, manifestation doesn't work because these circumstances I dread are still here. I hate my life. No, you're keeping it in place with your resistance. Your reality is awesome. Yeah, even the darkness is awesome. You created the illusion. It's all you know. Wow, I tricked myself. Wow, bravo, hats off. Wow, amazing. Okay, let's create something new. Something new, out of the ordinary. Let's go to another country. Let's go meet new people. Let's go build something. Let's go whatever. But don't resist what you have now, because the now is awesome. Even if you lack something. Look around, breathe. You are breathing air. That's awesome. You are able to move. That's amazing. If you are able to move. We take so many things for granted. You have people maybe around you that love you. You know how amazing that is, that another being can care so deeply for you? You know how amazing that is? You know how amazing it is to be able to sit into nature? You know how many things we take for granted? How many things we just throw back at creation, like, no, I don't want it. Like spoiled children. You are breathing air. Be grateful. You are experiencing a human body. You are in a very important time period in the history of humankind. That's amazing. We are at such a big transformation, and that's amazing. We get to witness that. That's why you're here right now. That's why you're here. This tree, amazing. Amazing. My hair, amazing. I have hair. What? I have hair? Ah, grass, amazing. Ah, a bumblebee, amazing. Don't take people around you for granted. Don't take your circumstances for granted, because in there are so many blessings. Count your blessings. It's really true. It's really true. Because if you are grateful, you will pull more to you to be grateful for. And if you resist something, and if you reject something, and then you create more of that, that's also awesome and okay, because it's also your creation. But create consciously, you know. Our job, our true job, is not to work for people. Our true job is mastering creation. That's why you're here, as a soul. That's our job. People who think, is there more to life than this world? Yes, of course there's more. You are meant to master this creation. You are meant to become the neocortex. It's a higher mind, higher level of intelligence in creation. You are part of the evolution of this whole world. The perceived evolution, everything is in now moment. But anyway, it's amazing. It's amazing you get to participate in real time, in real now, in this story. And anything you wish is already here. Because it's fulfilled anyway. Your appointments have already been set. You don't need to consciously think about it. You can go through life completely silent, without thinking, and still get everything you wish you want. You don't need to overthink. The ego overthinks when it's pretending to be separate again. The ego thinks when it's pretending to be in danger or in a threatening situation, but there is no threat, because you're all that is. You're every single part of this whole story. You're every actor, actress. You're just perceiving the story through your individual avatar eyes. You see, I'm not who you think I am. I've never been. I've been pretending for so long to be this personality. But I can't do it any longer. It's too painful. Because if you pretend to be this personality, then it will literally take you down to the small self level, and you can't create anymore. So, no, I'm not this. I'm not this. I choose to be completely, utterly free. If you feel attachment to anything or anyone, observe what your thoughts are doing, what your emotions are doing, and what your bodily sensations are doing. Observe them without thinking, just observe. Be the observer. If you observe that, you feel this contraction somewhere in your body, mostly your gut or your heart or some blockage, you know? That's telling you are identified with the small self, with survival mode, with the ego. That's telling you are still misperceiving your reality, because this is just a signal. They are helping you to realize that you think you are separate again. So you observe, and then, okay, I feel this contraction. Go for a walk or anything that helps you. My favorite thing is walking in nature. Or you can go into a deep meditation. Or you can, what else can you do? You can work out, go for a run or something. Just get out of there, observe, and then you say to yourself this: I don't need this person to be whole and complete. I don't need this circumstance to be whole and complete. I don't need this circumstance to be provided for. Why? Because I am the source. I am all that is. It's starting to rain now. I'm not made of sugar, huh? Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, so everybody knows that when you do this to a lighter, it sticks to the wall. Well,
what? No way. That kind of defies laws of physics, does it not? Lighter. There we go. I don't think this will work. No way. Well, let's see. What? No way. How the fuck does that work? Really? For fuck's sakes. I'm just gonna leave it there and see how long it'll stay.
Check this out.
Oh yes, some beautiful crystals.
It's called tenebrescent scapolite, and it's supposed to change a different color under UV light.
It just looks like broken pieces of glass. Okay, dirty little crystals. I don't notice anything. I can't. Are they turning pink? Or they are turning red? Is that what's happening? I can't tell. Am I going crazy?
So it's supposed to turn blue. Okay, now close it.
They look the same. I'm gonna try something else. I have something better. There's eye burn, and then there's super eye burn.
My gosh.
So don't look. Let's cook it.
This is way better.
Oh.
Yeah,
no,
this is...
we're fully cooking this. Okay, you ready?
Okay, yeah, let's see.
Let's see what it does.
Oh, wow.
See, that's actually blue. It worked.
The moment people bring Jesus or God into stuff, I tune out. Am I the only one? So, like, I could be reading a comment, or I could be just having a casual conversation with someone, and everything starts out great. They'll be like, oh yeah, I was able to do this, and I went and I got my PhD, and I wasn't supposed to get done until 6 years, but I got done in 3.5 years, and everything was fine, and I was doing this, and you're like, oh yeah, and I would not have been able to do it if it wasn't for Jesus, or if it wasn't for God, right, or whoever. And in that moment, I just my brain shuts off. Like, I'm just like, it's almost like everything that they just said, I totally disregarded it after they put Jesus in. I don't know why, but that just offends me when people don't give themselves credit for the hard work that they put into something, or the ways in which they've overcome something hard or whatever, and they'll just chalk it up to fake Jesus, or white Jesus if you're black, or the fairy tale God, or the sky daddy, or whatever you want to call God or Jesus, right? They just chalk it up to the sky daddy. Like, oh, if it wasn't for sky daddy, I wouldn't have accomplished. And it's just like, how dare you? How dare you diminish and not see your own worth and your own hard work and attribute all of that to something that you've never even seen before? Like, I tune it out. People like that, my Target bag is coming loose. I got a Target bag on my head because my hair is like twisted down, and it's raining, and it keeps raining and stopping. But anyways, how dare you? And if you're one of those people that do that, please understand how annoying that is to people that don't believe in that stuff. It's so annoying to us. I literally stop listening, seriously, because not only do I not believe any of that's real, I also think it's crazy that people will just give all credit to something that's not even real in the first place. I know it's real to some of y'all, and that's fine, whatever, but am I the only one that does that? That is so annoying. When I tell you my brain shuts off and I just stop listening, and anything that you say after that, I wouldn't be able to recall it. I wouldn't be able to recall what shirt you had on in a lineup or nothing, because I literally just totally disassociate.
Before you start saying, bro, there's definitely an easier way to do that, first of all we had was a crane and a bulldozer. Second of all, the client just asked for a little off the top. What were we supposed to do?
If you drop a chameleon onto a mirror, what color does it turn to? Would it become reflective? Isn't that concerning?
White people are better at evolution? Since when? My brother in Christ, I had to wait for cloud coverage to record this. Let's just start with our lack of melanin that literally protects you from the sun. That's indisputable, right? Like, you can physically see the difference. So much so that you leave comments like this. But we'll come back to that. The sun is literally attacking us every time we're in it. Let's move to another evolutionary difference. White people's noses, look at mine. See how it went in on one side? 80% of people have a deviated septum that are Caucasian. And do you know why? Because we weren't designed to live anywhere near the equator. We were designed to be in colder spaces and our nose closed so that we weren't inhaling cold air. Do you know whose noses are wider and more open? And let me tell you the evolutionary benefits of it, my guy. 1, you're able to inhale more oxygen, getting more oxygen in your blood. Also, doesn't cause you to be a mouth breather. There's a reason your boy here doesn't have a chin. Also, mouth breathing causes front teeth crowding on the bottom. It leads to poor posture. It leads to being overweight. It leads to snoring and having lack of sleep, which ultimately messes with so many functions and features. But got it. Okay, got it. Read a fucking book.
Who is the devil in your eyes? Is he also an alien, or is it not a real person, not a real spirit? Who's the devil?
Let me tell you what happened. So you go again into the ancient tablets, you discover that a Yahweh, who's in the Bible, is known as God, right? Yahweh is known in the ancient text as Satan, the Lord of Eden, E-D-I-N. The land between the Euphrates and the Tigris rivers is where they had the Eden, E-D-I-N. When he has his outdoor laboratories, what I like to call it, where they discovered that mating these people together would work if they had enough genetic diversity. What happens is his brother, Enki, who's now known as Satan, he comes in and he starts talking to the people there. And he starts telling them, it wasn't just Adam and Eve he was talking to, there were other people there. And he was telling them how powerful they really were. The mysteries of the universe was inside of their body, and that they had the ability to ascend even to a higher level than even them. These people then realized that they weren't animals. They clothed themselves. And by the time this Yahweh character, also known as Enlil, comes back, Satan, he realizes what's happened, that his brother has given them the apple. What's the apple? Knowledge. And so he gets pissed off.
Okay,
I have been tagged in and sent this a ton.
If I don't video it, nobody's gonna believe me.
Facts. They always want the video proof. What you got?
See, not really any wind.
I don't see any wind.
And then you see this happy tree over here. Happy tree!
Not a Fae trap, a Fae home.
Do you see it?
The Fae live there, ma'am. Those are the Fae.
There's a happy tree, just a waving.
Happy tree! Happy tree.
How weird is that? So cool.
So not a Fae trap, but definitely a Fae home. If you live near this person, or you are this person, and you want to interact with the Fae, you want to get to know them, you want to talk to them, you want to feed them names after you build a relationship with them, that's where you go. Especially since she went on to say that it does it every time she walks by it. They want your attention, madam. Which might not necessarily be the best thing in the world. But anyway, that is a Fae tree.
Shit's getting weird. Part infinity. On this episode of Why? The White's Wonder.
The man's been arrested after climbing the Las Vegas Sphere. The daredevil climber was detained after climbing Las Vegas's newest attraction. It took just 20 minutes for him to reach the top of the 110-metre high structure. The man even posted a video of himself on top of the dome from a camera on top of his head.
Listen, I didn't even have to show you the rest of the video. We all knew. As soon as they said, breaking news, a man has climbed on top of the sphere, I said, it's not a nigga, that's for sure. And remember, y'all, because some of y'all still getting mad about this Why the Whites Wonder thing, just remember something. Why the Whites Wonder is a subcategory of white people. It's not all white people, okay? It's just a subcategory, okay? There's the ally white people. There's the regular white people, which is a lot of white people, which is regular. There's the you might be racist white people. And then there's the Why the Whites Wonder. It's a subcategory, just like there's subcategories of niggas. But I didn't even have to see the rest of the news article. Immediately knew. Immediately. Why the Whites Wonder certified.
Well, this ain't good at all. As far as the eye can see, the railroad tracks are on fire. I called and reported it. Hopefully the railroad has a truck here that they could come and spray this down.
There's a really common joke that goes, wow, the first person to ever eat a lobster must have been really hungry. I mean, look at it. It's a giant, disgusting sea insect. And I've always hated that joke because we actually do know the history of why people started eating these, and it's really interesting, and it ties into a conspiracy theory I believe in, which is that I don't think anyone actually enjoys eating lobster. I think they've just been convinced that it's a high-class food for a really specific reason. As recently as the 1800s, lobster was considered a trash food for poor people, in the United States at least. They used to grind them up and use them as fertilizer. They used to feed them to prisoners. Dock workers once went on strike because they were being fed lobster 3 times a week, and that was too much. And the reason was, in that place at that time, lobster was really plentiful. It used to wash up on the beaches, and it was also high in protein. So it became established as like, this is our baseline food. If we run out of everything else, we've always got the lobster. But as a commercial product that you could like ship or store on shelves or serve in restaurants, it was difficult because lobster spoils really quickly. This is why in restaurants they have a tank of live lobster that they instantly cook. So because it was difficult to mess with and because it had to be shipped live, inside the country away from the coast, it became known that lobster was difficult to obtain. And because it's difficult to obtain, it had to be expensive. And because it was expensive, we decided it was good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying those people were lying. I'm saying the way the human brain works, you convince yourself it's good because it was difficult to get. Meanwhile, when I watch people eat lobster, they're dunking it in a giant bowl full of melted butter. You know what also tastes good when you dunk it in a bucket of butter? Anything.
So, why did we as humans decide to farm chickens over rabbits for meat? We should do both. Well, the good news is we do both. But there's a few reasons why we do more chickens than we do rabbits. The first one should be kind of obvious. Chickens lay eggs. You don't have to wait for eggs to grow up. They're ready the day they're laid. But the second reason is chickens actually perform a job that rabbits do not. You see, historically, you didn't have trash disposal. So people would have chickens so that way they could feed them their kitchen scraps to dispose of the garbage and turn it into eggs. But that's not the only job chickens have. They also were your pest control. Wormy apples fall to the ground first, so the chickens come in, eat the wormy apples, then there's no worms next year. If you want to protect your vegetable garden, get chickens. Don't let them in the garden itself, but let them patrol around it. The third job of your chicken is your spreaders, your sanitation field crew. So chickens themselves, they're gross, don't misunderstand me, but their job is to spread cow patties. They're looking for bugs, so they spread out the manure pile so that way it's not so concentrated. But they will also spread out a
That
compost
was
pile.
quite interesting. Good vibes, Sauce. Thanks for watching all this way. You see, some people have been leaving comments asking about Kasungumo, if it's a snack or what's up with it. You see, Kasungumo, we have kept him here as one of us, as an animal that is just full of good vibes. You see? And the way we came across Kasungumo is a story for another day. Good vibes soul. You see, that previous video is what has made me talk about Kasungumo. Now, have you learned something with all those videos that has passed? How was the experience? Did you enjoy? Have you subscribed, my friend? Well, if you haven't hit the like button, do so please. Because today's episode was special just for you. Now, before we even depart, let's hear what the Guide of Life has for us today. Book of Knowledge. Big up to all those people in the comment section, by the way. Much love. No temptation has seized you, except what is common to man. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can stand up under it. 1 Corinthians 10:13. Wonderful. So let's also give thanks for all this way. Oh, by the way, if you can hear any background noise, there is some drizzling small rains falling, and it's all for the goodness of God. Let's give thanks. Father Lord, thank you for this far. Thank you for your goodness. Thank you for love and kindness, Father. This soul that have watched all this way, Father, bless them abundantly. In their lives, Father, you know them, Father. You know their needs and desires, Father. You know what it is, Father, that they really need. Please do it to them, Father, according to your will. In Jesus' mighty name, we do pray, trusting and believing. Amen. Till next time, my friends, peace and love be with you. Good vibes.